Good morning, everybody. I'm happy to be here and talk about chatbots. We have a lot of NLP researchers here, we have a lot of scientists here. They give every day, they work hard on making better technology to build better chatbots. On one hand, it's amazing, because we as a young company, we can use these technologies to build chatbots. On the other hand, we all know that this technology will never be perfect. There's always a space, there's always a day more you research to get closer to the perfection. And knowing that, we have to always have that in head when we build our chatbots. That one part is technology, what technology is able to do. But the other part is how we handle to build chatbots with the technology that exists. Excuse me.
I'm sorry, can you move your mic just a bit out of the path?
Sure, I'm not used to talk with those.
Yeah, exactly.
I think like that, maybe better.
Yeah?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I think I have a quite loud voice. That's good. Thank you a lot. So, if you look at that, we know all this journey already when we started to build websites. Here on the left side, we see Yahoo 1994, and on the right side, we see Airbnb these days. This website was built by technicians, engineers. They were happy of all the possibilities from the World Wide Web. This website was built by designers. So we see a huge difference. Things like user experience, usability, user-centric design gained so much importance during these years. When we talk about chatbots, we're still in the kind of Yahoo age, and we're not yet there. So in this talk, I want to take you on a little journey through some Swiss chatbots, and together I hope you give me some input as well. We see what can we do to improve usabilities of chatbots. I guess there's some English-speaking people here, and people that don't read German language. Since we're in Switzerland, we have quite some examples with German text. I try my best to translate, otherwise please just let me know. This is a chatbot from a Swiss bank called PostFinance. They have a chatbot to ask about the products, about the services, and also about the accounting, like how much is my balance. I didn't use the way the chatbot they expected. I just started to do some chit-chat. How's the weather? How are you? What's your name? And he always gives me answers. And he always comes back to the topic. Is there any opinion, any observation about this chat? Anyone wants to share something? Okay, I start with that one. I hope you will interact in the next one. So I see three things. First, the good thing, he always understands me. The chatbot always understands me and gives me a reply. It seems the chatbot has an intelligence. In myself, I feel I can trust this chatbot. He's not dumb. Can't trust the Wi-Fi though. Then the second thing we see, he always comes back to the topic. He always tries to bring the conversation back to the topic. And the third thing, and there I want to give you my first do, is the way he answers me. He's quite serious, not so much emotion. He's quite dry. He's a banker. That's what we expect from him. If we go to a corner at the bank, we need somebody not telling us his life story. We need like somebody that understands us and gives us an input in a serious way. That's why you always have to make your one thought if you build a chatbot. What is the personality behind this chatbot? And then try to use the right word, try to formulate your sentence the right way to really make this personality visible. We go further. Stadt Adliswil, the city of Adliswil built a chatbot to request health insurance reduction. Okay, we just have a look at this movie. No worry if it goes too fast. I will explain. It's in Facebook, we say hello, and the chatbot starts us to explain what we can do, how we use it. He asks us for our name, we enter the name, and then we have more, how we can open a website. He also has some information about privacy. Then he tells us about a menu we have. Apparently he was a bit confused with the right and left, can happen. And it goes on and goes on. Now we're here. We're here where we talk about the reduction. So any input, any observation about this case? Who thinks it was a good way? Who thinks it's a good chatbot so far you saw so fast? Who think it's maybe it could be better?
Too much text.
Too much text. The thing is, I have 3 things I thought here. If you want to build a chatbot, chatbots are all about simplicity. We want to have this natural conversation. You might first have to do a 2-minute tutorial to learn how to chat with this chatbot. The most part of the idea of a chatbot is kind of that. The second thing, he asked me for the name. That's all right, but Facebook knows the name. We can just read that. We can say from right away, hello, Peter, how are you doing? The third thing was the conclusion with the right, left, where the menu is. Yeah. So there's a famous book called Don't Make Me Think about usability. And that's the same when you have chatbot. Don't make the user think. Make it easy. Make it simple. A really nice example I like, this is Bea. She's from Davos, from the people, they're not from Switzerland, it's the highest city in Europe. And he talks about tourism. He gives you tips about what you can do in Davos and asks questions and gives you answers to your questions. And I, like I am, I always start with the chit-chat with those. And I say, oh, I like the mountains. And he says, oh, that's nice when you like it. And what do your friends think about that? And I say, yeah, my friends, they're more like the city people. And he asks back, my friends. And I say, yeah, sure, my friends really like the city. And at the end, he says, I'm sorry, I couldn't find any events on your criterion. So there's clearly a misunderstanding. So what went well and what went wrong here? What I really liked, there was really a conversation. It was like a good chit-chat, and he really got engaged. Like, he asked me a lot of questions. At the end, I was a bit disappointed because somehow we didn't talk the same language. Anyone in sales in here? In sales, there's one important thing is if you ask the questions, you're leading kind of the talk, the sales meeting. So we see here, every sentence he told me was a question. So I want to bring something positive. Do lead the conversation. Try to make the user following your conversation. And questions are a good way, but don't ask questions on their answer, you don't have answers. So if you ask questions, be ready that the user is going to reply. Another way to lead a conversation with chatbot, so-called quick answers. These are these buttons you find when you write a message and you can just click on them. First, you show the users what the context of this discussion. And on the other hand, now I lost the word. On the other hand, it's really handy for mobiles. Because people, for example, like me, I don't like to type too much, so if I have a button, I just click. So in the next example, we're going to see also that. This is a chap from BLS, the second biggest railway train company in Switzerland, and it's used for customer support. If any questions about the train, for example, in this case, we have about if you lost somebody, you lost a pocket or something in the bus. So you see these quick answers, quite fast, but you also can use the text and say, I lost something in the bus. And then he gives me the information where I can call. And he also asked me if that was helpful. We saw 2 things I want to show you about that. Take the user's feedback. Chatbots are really strong in getting feedback. What we did, we just asked a simple question, was it good, was it bad? What can we do else? We can look at the analytics. We can read these conversations and analyze them. That helps a lot. We have analytics tools like Google Analytics for web pages. They show us the most common flows and so on. That also helps really to improve. And we also it's perfect for A/B testing. Make one version with these buttons, quick answers, try to use emojis, all the things. It's really easy to do this A/B testing. The other thing you saw maybe is the don't make the user read a lot. You saw the last answer was like that. If you usually we say like 3, 4, 5 lines on a mobile, that's max. Because we want to chat like we chat with humans. We don't want to have the same experience. And what you saw here was kind of me writing my mom an email on WhatsApp. So, another one, we go leave Switzerland, an English example from Lufthansa. I'm asking, is Lufthansa operating at the European airport in Basel? And he said, I checked and found this answer for you. Where will I find the travel guide with the travel tips of the month? Okay. The first funny thing, for all the linguists in here, I don't have to explain you that this is not an answer, that this is a question. But also the context is just completely wrong. So that's what happened often. The chatbot gets confused. And it's reality, and everybody that develops a chatbot has to know that it's reality, and we have to work them. So don't make the user angry. Really don't make that. Then the session is quite fast over. We stay with this fallback when there's no understanding. This is, we call him Brad Wurstel. He's from St. Gallen like me, and he gives information about events that are happening in St. Gallen. I asked him something, he didn't understand me. The first step, he's honest and say, guys, I don't understand you. Instead of trying to find something somewhere, he's honest. And then he tries to bring the conversation back to a topic. He tries to say to people, that's what I'm able to do. The third step could be that you open a live chat, or live chat is expensive, like you need a whole call center, or you say, I call you back, or I write me an email, or whatever is for the use case which is possible to do. So the lesson there is just be honest and constructive. Handle these bad cases and see how you find the right way out of it. So you will have less angry users. There's so many don'ts and do's about chatbots. I just want to summarize the one I told you today. Don't make the user think. That's a rule of thumb. You always can use that rule. It's always something good to have in your mind when you try a chatbot. Don't make the user read a lot. Use short text, and just don't make them angry. You figure it out really fast. Put one person on the chatbot and try with 2, 5, and they all come away happy. You're on a really good way. The do's: use a personality, the appropriate personality. Lead the conversation. There are many ways that you can use questions to really bring the conversation in the path you want to have the user. Take the feedback, learn from them. And last but not least, be honest and constructive. Thanks a lot for listening to me. I have one last slide with do's. Don't be shy. Talk to me. And this is my email. You can add me on LinkedIn. I'm really happy also to hear what you guys are doing. I'm really interested in all that field. And yeah, thank you for listening.
So thank you, Christoph, for this very lively and entertaining talk. We have quite some time for discussion, so please feel free.
Ladies first.
So I work in a company that develops robots for healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not exactly chat as in written, but I think that really doesn't make a difference because you have speech to text. Now I see you have a lot of experience with different chatbots. What would you recommend for elderly people in an elderly care home?
So we once tried that. We did a similar case. I think one problem is elderly people usually not used to texting, so it starts already there. So what we did with speech recognition, and we kind of had an iPad which was supporting the whole conversation. So there it was about also like we did medicine check. Did you take your pills in the morning? And we really did a lot with big buttons and images and visualizing what we say to make it really like usable and as far away from technology and as possible. Yeah. Yeah.
can you show many bad examples? So can you give us some good examples, chatbots?
I think I show also a lot of good examples. It was mostly, I wouldn't say there were bad chatbots. There always some points that could be better. For example, Postvinos, and it's not mine. I think it was a really good example. There's a really fun chatbot about testing your, if you're a drinker, if you have a problem with alcohol, and they make it really well, like they make it in a playful way, but still really giving you a lot of information. So that can really be helped, and they work like with really anonymity. So the people they use that with chatbot, you have this possibility to nobody ever going to read the thing. So that's a really good example as well. Yeah.
So did you also where did you take the do's and don'ts? I mean, do you just test them, or did you give them to customers, or how did you collect those do's and don'ts?
Yeah, I'm like probably a lot of you. I'm not a researcher, so my do's and don'ts are not like in big studies. But what I think the most do's and don'ts you just see with user experience tests. Really, like there's a lot of study about usability, but the easiest way is just put the people there and you just see how they react. And that's what we do. That's the most effective, to really stand behind and look to the emotions. And of course, we look at the analytics. We see why people never click here. What is the problem? That's how we figure out them. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you started with this picture of Yahoo in 1994, which is where we are now. So gaze into your crystal ball for us. Where do you think will chatbots of the Airbnb 2019 variety will go?
I'm not sure if I have the crystal ball with me, but let me think. Like, obviously, development will go hand in hand by the technology and the possibilities. I think we had the hype where people had like, oh, chatbots, now we're gonna build that huge thing that everything is possible. And now people see like, okay, we have technology which is strong, but now that's what I say, now we have to find the right use case and make the right solutions. And I think now more and more there are really chatbots where people really say that was cool, that really worked, they were simple. We also use this user experience of conversational user interface. That's maybe even more important than the crazy technological possibilities. So I think it goes more and more in direction user experience and to really make use cases they're good. But I obviously hope like all the researchers in here bring better approaches, so we have to less think about those usability points. Yeah?
Maybe it was implicit in one of your don'ts, but is it, from your perspective, generally bad practice to refer to external documents or sources? Like sometimes I have the feeling the goal of the chatbot is actually the end of the conversation is always referring to an external source.
Yeah, that's right. And why is that like this? Because a lot of companies, they kind of want to start with the whole thing already. They want to have like the two kind of use cases you can start. If you say you take a little process and let's say I want to ask the balance of my account and that's all I can do. Or they say I kind of want to have this entry platform, you know, the guy who can ask everything. And the problem is just the first step is always like, okay, we just make this triage and then we refer to an extra link. And then if that works step by step, we try to integrate the process into the chatbot. So I think that's mainly a reason of how much development power and budget you have to build something like that. But I'm with you. I think the coolest if it's all in one media and you don't have to jump from one thing to the other. Yeah?
When is it worth doing a chatbot, and when should I rather invest the money and type up my website?
Okay, this is like chatbot versus website. This is so hard to answer this question. It really depends on your use case. If you, for example, I really like chatbots. If you have, let's say, a startup and you have an idea which is kind of complex, it's hard to put it in one sentence, then it's cool to use this interaction to learn about your business. Because nobody wants to read that much text. A lot of people scroll over. If you have a text box, you start to interact, you're excited, what is next? You like the technology, and there you get finally, you understand the whole business. For example, that's a really good use case. Another use case is really if you have really repetitive questions. Like I heard something, and please don't take me on the number, but I think like 30% of all calls to UBS are still people asking for their accounts balance. And if you have things like that, it's just like, if you can automate that with a chatbot, it's already worth. That answers?
So that's more an efficiency case to save people.
Yeah.
I also have a question. So among the examples that you've shown, some of them were designed by your company, or they're all third party?
Yes. No, some of mine. I also brought bad points on mine, so I hope if somebody is here, I really don't want to offend somebody.
So the question is, did it ever occur that you had to take down a chatbot, and for what reasons would this occur? Just stop it?
No. I think this kind of take down a chatbot is a bit this Microsoft case where these angry bots start to learn. These chatbots are quite controlled. So the only reason we may take down a chatbot if it's a prototype and people see, okay, that doesn't work for that case, or we have to change it, yeah. And I think the chatbots we have right now, they're all online, but it's mostly we are in this project needs quite some time to evaluate them and see where we go. So I hope they stay online. I hope they grow, but let's see next year. Yeah.
Perhaps I'll just follow up on that question there and crystal ball gazing with you and sort of see if you see things the same way. I think from a use case point of view, what we've seen in the past year is really sort of very narrow length tasks, right? So where you say, I'm looking for an apartment, can you help me find an apartment? Is there an event in the same town I'm in, et cetera, right?
Mm-hmm.
And from a use case point of view now, we evolve into sort of task-oriented, but yet, let's say, more subtle or longer tasks. For example, like tutoring a student, right? So there, you don't want to minimize the length of the conversation, right? You don't want to reach the task as soon as possible. You want to make sure you explore all the ideas involved, right? The entire space of ideas, etc. And I think going ahead, what we're going to see, and also for medical problems, like you mentioned, you don't want to jump the gun on the diagnosis, or you don't want to jump the gun on the way the patient is taking their medication. Perhaps you want to explore stuff like whether they really took it at the right time, whether it was before or after the meal or at a meal. So the kind of things, I think where we're headed now is more towards task-oriented chatbots, yes, right? So that trend will continue, but the tasks will get more complex, will get more human, will get more subtle. I think that's where we're headed, and that's where, as you rightly sort of pointed out, not just the design of the user interface and usability, but even conversational design will have to be more human.
Yeah, I completely agree on that. And the power of words is just not to underestimate. What you can transfer emotion and things like that, you won't never be able to do that with a nice formatted formula, a form on the internet where you basically maybe does the same task at the end. Yeah.
Do you also work on speech-based systems?
Yes, we had.
Are the rules different? The do's and don'ts?
I can't tell you right away. Like I'm sure we would have to go through all the points, but I think like sure there's some of the same rules, like with the personality, for example. Also with that you don't use too long text. And then it really also depends a bit on the devices. Like if you really, for example, using Alexa, one of the smart homes, you also have some, you can't do everything. They have some limitations on these systems. But if you develop your own speaker recognition or like your custom app, then it looks different. So I think probably the most things we have here, yeah, we can't read that, I guess. Don't make the manga. Yeah, it's definitely the same rule, but there are definitely additional rules in the voice thing. Yeah.
Have you used avatars in that realm?
Yes, avatar is also a big thing. Female, male, or non-gender robot is always a big question. Also here, really depending on the use case. If you use a male-female avatar, you really make it human, you make it more interacting, it's maybe good for marketing if you really want to show a personality. If you have a banking app, for example, I wouldn't take a person, because only the avatar itself gives already a lot of emotion and changes the way people talk to the chatbot.
Okay, so I think we should stop here, this interesting conversation. Thank you very much again.
Thank you.